Let's talk about a company that's doing 140 million a year, loosely based off a few that I work with. Now, this company's doing 140 million. The average gross margin is 58%, which is pretty good at that size. Very good at that size, I would say. The inventory balance of this company is about 23 million, and their months of inventory is about about 5.5 months inventory, which is not awesome, but it's not terrible. Okay, so let's dig in with this company, and this is a very high level view of inventory optimization. There's more to it than this, but let's get into it. All right, so here we are. This company has 11 categories of inventory here. Okay, this is for the month of June 2024, which has not happened because obviously can't give you guys real data. And then each category has a different gross margins. You can see that they range. So category 2 is 70% gross margin, 4 is 40%, 7 is 40%, and so on. They're all different. And what we're going to do, so all this stuff right here is going to come from your inventory or accounting or systems. Okay, so you want sales, gross margin, inventory value at hand at the end of this month that we're in right there. Great. So now we can calculate the cost of goods. All right, you can see the cost of goods sold is there. And actually, I'm going to freeze this pane. Freeze the pane. Got it. Okay. So now we're looking at the total inventory value. Well, before I go over there, total inventory value here. We know what the cost of goods sold is because we know what the gross margin is. Now we can tell how many months of stock does each category have in it. You note that about the approximate 5.5, which is not a terrible number, but it's not a great number, is actually masking the fact that a number of these categories are way offside in target inventory. So one category, very small, has 21 months. One is 13, one is 19, one is 7, one is 3, which could be a little light, and so on. So they're all different. So now what we do is we go into this column, we input the target months inventory in stock. You can see that I have it here. Some of the winning categories, let's say we run them at 4.5. Maybe this one is a very small amount, so let's set it to 3. What else can we do here? Okay, well, let's take a look. So now we have a target inventory value, and this is 18.9 as opposed to 22.7, which means that if you can get all these categories into their target inventory level, what you're going to come up with is freed up working capital. So instead of borrowing 3.8 million or financing from your own retained earnings or your own equity or your own owner's earnings, instead of financing this from your own value, you are going to just free up by optimizing inventory 3.8 million. Now, I've said before, this isn't fulsome. Within these categories, someone is going to have to look at the SKUs. There could be 500 SKUs. There could be 50 SKUs. There could be 5,000 SKUs. Now, each SKU needs to be optimized. Hope to God this isn't clothing, because then you have to optimize for sizes, colorways, and all that. Or shoes, sizes, colorways. Those things are very hard to do, but they must be done. Okay? Why? Because there is so much money on the line. Okay? If your category is off, dig into the category. There's got to be some SKUs that are off as well. Obviously, there must be if we're here. Okay, so you can, I'll make a different sheet later to figure out velocity and how you sort of approximate velocity of sales plus growth. And so what is your target safety stock? I can give you another sheet in a different time for that. But in this particular case, we're working at the category level. This is the first place I look as a CFO. Just look at the business as a whole. We did that, 5.5, 5.3. It's not great, but it's okay. Well, now we look at the categories and we see where we can actually work. At overall business size, you can't tell somebody reduce inventory unless you have really, really solid team members. It's hard to tell somebody just reduce inventory from 5.3 to 4.5. But when you can get down into category level, you can give more intel. So here we are. We are freeing up $3.8 million in inventory. Perfect. And you can see here that some categories need an injection of inventory. Now, there's more to it than this. There's a lot more to it than this. What I want you to do next is I want you to go in here and look at the shipping costs the payment processing costs. I want you to look at the ad spend. I want you to look at affiliate commissions, all by category. Why? Well, contribution margin. You need to know what your contribution margin is on a category level. Ideally, you can find it at a SKU level. It's very, very difficult to do. It's possible, but it's very difficult, and there's a lot of estimating and assumptions involved. But at the category level, it's more possible. So you need to understand your contribution margin by category. Why? Why? So these categories need more inventory. This one needs less. Well, let's quickly check our gross margins again. So remember, these ones want more inventory. But you note that this one is 40% gross margin. Well, $675,000 in gross margin is, I don't know why the number's not showing up there, but $675,000 in gross margin is actually nice for your bottom line, right? Well, it is. And so you're not just going to want to give up $1.7 million in sales and lose $675 off your bottom line. But remember that what really affects your bottom line is contribution margin. So when we need to top up inventory here. Great. Now, we look at shipping, we look at payment processing, we look at ad spend, we go all the way over to contribution margin, and we can see that there are some categories in your business that are taking away from your profit, meaning that this category wants more inventory, but it's actually reducing your profitability completely. So let me show you what we do now. When we know that, here's what we do. Some of you will say, well, let's fix ad spend. Let's fix this, fix that. You know what? When you're not profitable, this company, let's say it's not profitable. If it is, fine. But if you're not profitable, you have to move, especially in 2024 when the banks aren't here for you, when lenders aren't here for you, when investors aren't here for you. You have to move really, really quick. So here's what I would want you to do as a 9-figure CFO myself. Here's what I would want you to do if you have a category with negative contribution margin. I want you to come in here and I want you to cut this from your business completely. I don't want you to do it anymore. So here we go. We're going to cut that away. You're creating $8 million in working capital. Okay, and then I want you to get rid of it. Boom. Not only did you create an additional $3 million inventory because you liquidated that, okay, you liquidated it, got rid of it. I don't care how. This assumes you just got rid of it, right? Or maybe you got rid of it at cost. Let's just say. In fact, you're actually not getting rid of it at cost even before this. So let's assume you divest of that category. You now, on a go-forward basis, have a stronger margin than you did before. And you've recouped the working capital from that category. Awesome. Theoretically, you could sell it for less than you were selling it before because you're not going to, ideally these things would go down. You want to get your working capital back in your hands. And in this particular case, you could apply this against current debts, or use it to reinvest in other parts of the business, but you're getting money back. Not only are you getting capital back, you're getting profit dollars back. Awesome. So again, this is a high-level view. One of the first things that I do in a business when I'm looking at inventory and I feel like there might be some optimizations needed. If anybody wants the sheet, I will make it into a usable sheet, but just comment here if you want it, and I'll remake it and I'll throw it back in the comments for you. Hope that makes sense. Any questions, ask me in the comments. Bye, everybody.